gotten along fine. I threw away my chance. She falls silent for a moment. When she next begins to speak, it is a barely audible whisper. I know what you are thinking. During the warp jump, when Lady Theodora came out towards us, I keep thinking about the meeting. I keep blaming myself. Why didn't I divine it? Why didn't I stop her killer? These thoughts have been playing at the back of my mind day after day, choking me with guilt. And do you know what? The one on the officer's deck. I don't know what that was, but this time here, this was the product of my guilt. An accuser straight out of my own mind. Has anything like this ever happened to you before? Like this? Never. Well, there was something, but it was different. It wasn't as strong or as terrifying. Apparitions appeared. Mechanisms malfunctioned. The crew lost their minds. Idira breaks off. But Lady von Valencius knew about that. She said it was a small price to pay. An acceptable expense. No psyker is immune to it. But what happened here? It was just a mistake. I won't do it again. Idira stretches her lips in a helpless smile, looking past you. There will be no more mistakes, Lord Captain. I hope so. Argenta grits her teeth. This is not the first time this heretic has caused the death of her crew. Do you remember the incidents on the mid-deck, Idira? What did those honest souls ever do to deserve such a fate? To be turned into mutants and attack their own families. You are a monster, a heretic. If you have any humanity left in you, admit what you are. Shut up, Idira moans. Quit your preaching. You're the worst out of everyone here. So what am I supposed to do with you? Idira turns sharply to face you. Oscar, I know after everything I've done, you have no faith in my willpower or my strength, but I can fix everything. It's just, I am not at my best, you see, but maybe we can find a way to replace my implants. Or some other remedy, a better one. Lady von Valencia said that such a thing could be found, if not here, then elsewhere. I just didn't need it before, but we just need to find it. We need to figure out where to look for it, and we will get it. And until then I'll keep myself on a tight leash. What will happen to my crew while we look for this remedy? I want to help you, Idira. We will think of something. I'm not going to kill you, but keeping you in the crew is dangerous. No, I want to help you, Idira. Well, we will think of something. Idira covers her face with her hands and tries to hold back her sobs. Thank you, Oscar. I won't let you down. You are making a mistake, Lord Captain. Perhaps you will find something to slow the decline, but it will not stop it. Only a miracle can save Idira at last now. Idira awkwardly shakes out her stained clothing. I think I'd better. With your permission, Lord Captain. She sways, takes a step back and faints. Lord Captain, the Voxmaster's shaking voice comes over the comm bead. I received a report that the shooting on the lower deck had stopped. I presume you have brought the situation under control, awaiting further instructions. I got rid of the warp's illusion. Idira is alive. Bring her to the surgeons and have them see to her. Everyone who was on the deck is dead, including the attackers. What happened was entirely a fault of Idira. At last, dispatch servitors here and put her out through an airlock. I am sick of her antics. Just threw her away. She's unconscious. You can take her. You hear unconcealed relief in the Voxmaster's voice. Of course, Lord Captain, as you command. Okay. Level up. And a lot of stuff to pick up. Grenades. They didn't use stun grenades. Kind of.
In spite of your years, your body remains strong. Tell me, Abigail, what do you do to train for it?
Good. 45%. Oh, shoot. Locked. Locked.
Just as I was told.
Woo! Psychic Awakening. Unsanctioned Psyker. After triggering a psychic phenomena or perils of the warp, wearer's psi rating is increased by 1 until end of combat. Wearer gains momentum and temporary wounds equal to the resolve. Can only be equipped by unsanctioned Psyker. The wearer gains 4% dodge until the start of the next turn for each enemy affected by the psi power or Psyker's staff. Attack stacks. Regains 10 toughness. Once per combat, whenever the wearer's wounds drop below 35%, the wearer gains 18 wounds. Oh! The Guardian Crown. From now on, I will take everything into my inventory. The Void Ship Bridge. And level up. Bite. The Overseer chooses an enemy in their line of sight within Familiar's MP divided by 2 cells of the Cyber Mastiff. The Mastiff immediately dashes to that enemy and performs special attack. The target suffers double rending damage and must pass a toughness resistance test with a -5 times Familiar's weapon skill bonus. Penalty or fall prone for 1 round. Removes the effects of the apprehend and protect abilities. The Cyber Mastiff lets out a terrifying growl. For 1 round, all enemies in a 2-cell radius deal -5 times Familiar Strength bonus divided by 2% less damage to the Cyber Mastiff, the Overseer, and their allies. Number of wounds, okay. Consolidation. Overseer immediately dashes to their familiar within 2 plus Overseer's Fellowship bonus cells. So 2 plus 3, so with 5. The Overseer can move through allies and enemies, but not through obstacles. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. If the familiar is a Cyber Eagle that is soaring, the Overseer gains 2 plus Overseer's Fellowship bonus movement point instead. I will take this. In a 2-cell radius. 2-cell radius. Nah, that's not good. Allows the Cyber Mastiff to move through enemies. While moving, it inflicts 6 level of bleeding on all adjacent intermediate passes. Each enemy affected increases the critical hit chance of the Cyber Mastiff next attack by 5% until the end of the turn. His ability to remove immobilized, prone, and stunned. Not bad. Not bad at all. This is cool. Because I can move my guy without using movement points. For 5 cells. And it does not provoke attack of opportunities. But with this, or run. Damn it. Look at this party. Mastiff, Servo Skull and Raven. Mm. That's cool. Depending on the familiar's number of wounds, the overseer or the familiar gains a special benefits for 1 round. 50% wounds or more, the overseer deals 2 times overseer's perception bonus % more damage with the next attack. If that attack kills the target, it does not count toward the attack limit per turn, and the overseer regains any AP spent on it. Huh. Depending on the familiar's number of wounds, the overseer or the familiar gains a special benefit for 1 round. The next 3 hits, the familiar have their damage reduced by minus overseer's fellowship bonus plus overseer's intelligence bonus plus overseer's perception bonus. For the next 3 hits against the familiar. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. I will take it. Awareness, please. Complete. Mr. Versarian. Okay. Do I have... What do I have? Forced distraction. The Vanguard chooses an ally. All enemies in a 3-cell radius around this ally must make a willpower resistant test with a minus 15 penalty. On failed test, the Vanguard becomes their priority target. Regardless of the willpower resistant test results, the chosen ally do not provoke attacks of opportunity from these enemies, can shoot enemies in melee range and move as if it not within range of attacks of opportunity. That's cool. The Vanguard and all their allies in a 3-cell radius around them gain 3 plus number of unyielding beacon stacks temporary wounds. Plus 10 plus 2 times number of unyielding beacon stacks % parry until their next turn. Whenever the Vanguard parries an enemy attack, they immediately make an attack of opportunity with a minus 20 penalty to weapon skill. Forced distraction. And commerce? No. Athletics? Do you have coercion? Presents a character's talent to manipulate other people through intimidation and reach their desired goals via threats and pressure during dialogue. And carouse is doing what? Ability to resist negative effects applied by some poisons, stimulators or alcohol may give access to new dialogue options. Athletics. Using athletics. Next attack, if it hits, will cause all the targets to make a toughness resistant test with a minus 12 penalty. If failed, the targets will suffer a negative effect based on the attack's damage. Impact damage, piercing and rending damage inflicts bleeding and slowed. Impact damage knocks the target prone for 1 round. Energy and all other damage inflict blinded. Reckless Rush. Militant immediately gains 9 MP. If the Archmilitant has stacks of versatility, they gain 3 more stacks of versatility, which last until the end of the... Gains the Cautious Approach effect until the end of combat, or until this ability is used again, or until using Confident Approach, instead of the usual bonuses from versatility. The Archmilitant gains 5 dodge and parry for every stack. If Archmilitant already has 4 or more stacks of versatility, the Archmilitant removes all slowed, blinded, bleeding, burning and toxin effects from themselves and becoming immune to those effects, as well as stunned and prone, for as long as the Archmilitant keeps the Cautious Approach effect. Or I can kick somebody. Makes a melee attack with a kick, dealing 6 damage instead of weapon damage. This attack does not count toward the attack limit per turn and counts as a single melee attack for the purpose of versatility. Cannot be parried and will push the target 2 cells away. That's cool stuff. Yeah, confident approach. Oh, damn. Cleansing Fate. The mini storm priest gain 3% armor penetration with chain and power weapons. Really? When an Imperial Ward character is affected by an ally non-damaging ability or affects an ally with such an ability, the resolve is increased by 1. Influence how efficiently and for how long characters can fight in the battle. It determines the amount of momentum gained at the beginning of each turn or after killing an enemy. All allies, excluding Xenos in the current party, gain +5 to the same characteristic as was chosen for humanity's finest. What did you pick for humanity's finest? Cleansing Faith. The Minister and Priest gain 3 armor penetration with chain. Okay. Maximum wounds are increased by 3. Just like that. Area attacks with a Weber create a webbed area. Chain weapon training agility. +5 to ballistic skill. Wherever the wielder successfully uses shield bash. I don't have shield. Durable knotting. Enemies immobilized or slowed by this character's Weber. I don't use Weber. Arc rifle. Nope. Grenadier. Heavy weapon proficiency. Reduces the required strength value for heavy weapons by 25. Okay, the executioner immediately inflicts bleeding 5 on an ally of their choice, including themselves. That ally gains +5 +10 Medicaid divided by 10 bonus % to dodge and 3 additional movement points until bleeding ends. The executioner gained bonuses to their parameters for each creature, enemy or ally in combat suffering from the following damage over time effects. Next range attack or psychic staff ability. Nope. Pain resonance. All enemies suffering from damage over time effect in a 4-cell radius around the executioner immediately suffer an extra instances of damage from these effects. They must also pass a resistance test, Medicaid divided by 5 penalty, or suffer an additional negative effect. Type of okay, bleeding, agility resistant test, blinded. Nope. Replaces 30% of maximum wounds of their wounds with the same number of temporary wounds until the end of combat. While the executioners has temporary wounds, all of their melee attacks and damage over time effects deal an additional 30% of maximum wounds % damage. Yes, please. Grand Strategist. Oh god, no. Point of curiosity. It was quick. And you will have awareness. Of course, awareness. Death Whisper, poison, poised to strike. 12 armor and 6 deflection until the end of the assassin's turn. If there is only one enemy adjacent to them. Oh. Within a 40 cell radius. The assassin also gains 12% dodge until assassin's next turn. If there are no enemies adjacent to the assassin, they gain 14% dodge reduction. Fainting attack. This is the next single target attack will have 50% armor penetration penalty with a minimum of 0% armor penetration and 10 lethality. 40 dodge to the target of this attack. If this attack hits, it deals additional 28 rounded down damage increased by twice the percentage of the target's missing wounds. That does not count toward the limit of attack per turn and does not block the assassin's movement, but deals only 25%. Post to strike is good. If it is a melee, if it is a range attack, its target is forced to move to the closest cell in a 3-cell range with no adjacent cover, facing toward the assassin. This movement provokes attacks of opportunity. This is cool too. Get them a killing edge. F it. You have... Oh my god. Next, overcharge, gain AP. Willpower, probably. Reflects the character's ability to withstand the horrors of the warp, the terrors of space, and the dreadful opponents they are bound to encounter in the Corona's expanse. High willpower allows characters to exert control over a crowd or interrogate a heretic. It also increases the chances of resisting negative mental effects and psychic powers. Enemies in 3-cell radius around a familiar suffers -5 penalty to characteristic considered to be a familiar's stuff. Weak hearts. Enemies suffering from the blinded, stunned, immobilized or prone effect inflicted by the Psyker suffers 10% more damage. When the Psyker uses a divination psychic power on an ally without an unnatural luck effect, that ally gains unnatural luck. When the ally suffers a critical hit, it becomes a normal hit instead, and the unnatural luck effect is removed. 9 successfully used. At the beginning of every combat, the Psyker allies gain 15% critical hit chance. Kills an enemy with a psychic power dealing more damage than the target's wounds. The excess damage goes through. Becomes a target of any particular Psyker's ability. For the first time, this enemy suffers -5 penalty to the intelligence and perception. The first time in combat, then an ally becomes the target, blah blah blah, Blade of Light, force weapon attacks deals 3 damage and have 15% more. Heroic act by the Psyker decreases veil degradation by 4. By the way, what this stuff gives me. Immediately heals to full wound. The immobilized prone and blah 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 until the end of combat. The overseers allies also ignore the cover of enemies that are under surveillance. Additionally, allies within a 4-cell radius around the servo skull swarm are immune to critical hits. That's cool. Psyker Majoris. Yes, please. And to intelligence give me, for each point of an intelligence bonus, characters deal 5% more damage with non-burst range area attacks. If also affect Lore Imperium, Lore Warp, Xenos, Logic, Medicae and Attack Use skill. Awareness skill. Willpower. +7. Cool. All allies Allies that are currently affected by any of the Psyker's power gain the perfect timing effect. When an ally under this effect dodges or parries an attack, if this ally has a weapon capable of reaching the attacker and has an attack that costs 1 AP or less, that ally immediately counterattacks with his weapon. The perfect timing effect fades. I can do Sanctic Power. Concentration of Fate Sanctic powers are used by pious Psykers to protect allies and smite heretics. Can only target creatures suffering from warp, burn or burning, orchestrated flames. Whatever.